An unbiased coin is tossed repeatedly and its outcome is recorded. What is the expected number of trials to get head and tail consecutively? In this question, there is a small ambiguity. So, how many times we have to repeat the tossing? That is not mentioned. But if I keep on tossing the coin, like head, head, tail, tail, so for infinite time, then this problem is not interesting, correct? So, generally, what they have to give is they have to stop this tossing the coin after some time, correct? So that's why let me assume that. So maybe his intention is an unbiased coin is tossed repeatedly and its outcome is recorded until head tail, consecutive head tail occurs. What is the expected number of trials to get HT consecutively is the question. All right. So we stop the experiment once we get head and tail. Right. All right. For example, you see one experiment is this one. This is allowed. Okay. We stop like H, T, and then you have to stop because we got HT. T, T, then any number of T's followed by then H, T. We should stop. Or all the H combinations like this followed by T. Right. So these are all possible sequences. Let me confine myself to all the sequences of length n. That means after n trials, let's say after n trials, let's say you are succeeded. After n trials, you are succeeded. That means you have HT in the sequence, in that n trial sequence. So these are the n minus 2 positions. In this n minus 2 positions, you can write anything, but the terms and conditions should be satisfied. That means, this should be the first occurrence of head, head and tail. That's it. So further, there are three structures I am able to see. One is, this can have all the H combinations like this, right? The sequence has all the H. The second one may be, see, you can't have, once you have H, you cannot have T after that, correct? Right. So then the sequence might start with T, correct? Because we have covered a case where, the sequence starts with H, that is done. Now we will see a case where it starts with T, then immediately you can have H like this. Or you can have two T's followed by H, or three T's followed by H, so on, or all the T's. Correct. It is very clear to see, you see, this is while counting, I can use this logic. Here there is one T, there are two T's, there are three T's, or all the T's. There are n minus 2 positions, then this will have n minus 2 T's, correct? So these are all, if you count, they will be exactly n minus 2. It's easy to see, correct? And you have one more, n minus 2 plus 1, n minus 1. These are the only combinations. You just think about it, like, why we cannot have more than this. So in this n minus 1 positions, like n minus 1, we have n minus 1 possibilities, sorry, not positions, n minus 1 possibilities. Definitely the end is H comma T. Now my question, let's do simple permutations and combinations. How many how many different ways we can fill n positions? 2 power n ways. These are all 2 power n possibilities. Out of them, how many of them are favorable for us to have this event that, that sequence ends with HT? N minus 1, just now we have calculated. Alright. So this is important for us. Let me define an event, that is an event where the experiment ends after n attempts. That means after n trials. Alright. That means in the last two out of these n minus n positions, the last two positions only will have HT. Okay, you never get this HT combination here. And we know that probability of En is, just now we have seen, n minus 1 by 2 to the power of n, right? And we have to see carefully what is E1. Probability of E1 equal to 0. Is it true or not? Yes, it is 0, because so with one like attempt you cannot get HT, right? So what about probability of E2? probability of E2 according to this formula, it is 1 by 2, correct? N is 2, right? 1 by 2 square, which is 1 by 4. Let's list out. When you do 2 times HH, HT, TH, TT, right? Okay, this is a favorable case, 1 by 4. Yeah, it's working. This is what the idea. Now, why it is helpful for us? What is our problem? Our problem is finding expected number of trials to get HT. See, we know that we can get HT consecutively after 2 trials, maybe after 3 trials, or after 4 trials, or after 5 trials, so on, right? 100 or 200. So these are all. So this represents E2, correct? What is the probability that the experiment gives you HT after 2 trials? E2, right? That is E2. That's why this event is very important for us. Let me introduce you random variable x, which represents the number of trials to get HT consecutively, which is stated in the problem. Okay, number of trials to get HT. All right. So x can take a value 0 or 1 or 2 or 3, so on. So what is x equal to 3? X equal to 3 means the number of trials to get HT is 3. Okay, is exactly equal to event 3. Correct? E3. So we know that probability of E3 equal to 3 minus 1, 2 by 2 to the power of 3, correct? That is equal to probability of x equal to 3, right? Now you have probabilities for x equal to 0, x equal to 1, x equal to 2, x equal to 3, so on. Now what we need is, what is the expected value of x? So x can take any of these values, but what is the expected number? For expected number, we have a formula that is sigma I into probability of x equal to I, where I equal to 0 to infinite. All right. So let's replace probability of x equal to I by the formula, because probability of x equal to I is nothing but probability of EI, correct? EI, which is I minus 1 by 2 to the power of I. So let's substitute. This is equal to sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I minus 1 by 2 to the power of I. Let's simplify it. Yeah, let's continue. So we missed here this I. Okay, let me add that I here. We have sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I minus 1 by 2 to the power I into I minus 1 by 2 to the power of I. If I simplify it, it would be I equal to 0 to infinite. I into I minus 1 can be written as I square minus I by 2 to the power of I. Let's separate them. So we can write I equal to 0 to infinite I square by 2 power I minus sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I by 2 to the power of I. Let's target this first. If I expand this, then you get like this. When I equal to 0, it would be 0 by anything is 0. Then when I equal to 1, it would be 1 by 2. Plus when I equal to 2, it would be 2 by 2 square. Then 3 by 2 cube, so on. Alright. If I take 1 by 2 common, it would be 1 plus 2 into 1 by 2 plus 3 into 1 by 2. This is a familiar sequence for us in data structures algorithms. So many times we have seen this series, right, in the trees topic. So 1 by 2 square plus 4 into 1 by 2 whole cube. This 1 by 2 square can be written as 1 by 2 whole square, right? So 4 into 1 by 2 whole cube, so on. Infinite series. So we have a formula for this. So that is 1 plus 2x plus 3x square plus 4x cube, so on, infinite series is equal to 1 minus x whole power minus 2. Alright. So if I substitute 1 minus x whole power minus 2, it would be here 1 minus x is 1 by 2 whole power minus 2. So this is 1 by 2. So this 1 by 2 whole power minus 2. So this would be 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 whole power minus 2. If you simplify, you get 4. So 2 to the 4. Alright. Now we have to simplify this part. Let's see how to solve this summation sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I square by 2 power I. I can write this as, I am substituting I equal to 0, 0 square by 2 power I plus sigma I equal to 1 to infinite I square by 2 power I. Alright. Okay, let's call this as S. Now that is equal to this. So finally A is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to infinite I square by 2 power I. A small modification what I do is, I write this as I minus 1 equal to 0 to infinite. When I equal to 1, or obviously I minus 1 equal to 0. Then I square by 2 power I. So this is where I did a change, correct? Now, in the place of I minus 1, just imagine another variable so that it's easy for you to understand. X equal to 0 to infinite. Alright. So that means I'm assuming that x equal to I minus 1. Then I square will become x equal to I minus 1, I equal to x plus 1, right? I'm substituting I as x plus 1, x plus 1 whole square by 2 power x plus 1, right? Then you got x equal to 0 to infinite x plus 1 whole square by 2 power x plus 1. See, again I can change this variable to I because there is no significance to x right here. X is a just variable. In the place of x, anything you can write. So again you replace it with I. So that will become I equal to 0 to infinite. X is I now. So I plus 1 whole square by 2 power I plus 1. So why this is correct? Because I is just a variable currently. So don't compare this I with this I. Alright. Okay, this is just a variable I which is iterating over 0 to infinite. That's it. That is the significance of this variable I. Correct. So this is equal to S. Now if I simplify it, then this would become I equal to 0 to infinite I plus 1 whole square by 2 into 2 power I, correct? That is equal to 1 by 2 of sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I plus 1 whole square by 2 power I. Alright. This is, we know that S. Then can I say sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I plus 1 whole square by 2 power I, which is this part, equal to 2 into S. Right. So why I'm doing entire thing is to do subtraction of this 2s and s. What is s here? This part you see. I equal to 0 to infinite I square by 2 power I. This one is I equal to 0 to infinite I plus 1 whole square by 2 power I. If I do subtraction, then this I square term will be cancelled. That is my ultimate idea, because I don't know how to simplify when the term summation has I square. So that's why let me do 2s minus s. That is equal to sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I plus 1 whole square by 2 power I minus sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I square by 2 power I. Let's do the simplification. So 2s minus s equal to I equal to 0 to infinite I plus 1 whole square by 2 power I minus I equal to 0 to infinite I square by 2 power I. So that means s equal to, if I simplify it, you get sigma I equal to 0 to infinite. We know that when you have I equal to 0 to infinite some term minus I equal to 0 to infinite some term, then we can write 1 sigma and we can club these two, right? So I plus 1 whole square minus I square by 2 power I. So then sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I plus 1 whole square is I square plus 2I plus 1 minus I square by 2 power I. Remember one thing, sigma something f of x plus sigma with same terms and conditions 0 to infinite f of x or at f of I, whatever, plus sigma I equal to 0 to infinite g of I. If you have, then we can write sigma I equal to 0 to infinite f of I plus g of I, linearity. Now here sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I square plus 2i plus 1 minus I square. If I simplify, you get 2i plus 1 by 2 power I. Correct? Alright. That means sigma I equal to 0 to infinite 2i by 2 power I minus, plus sigma I equal to 0 to infinite 1 by 2 power I. So this value already we know that it is, if you simplify, you get 2. How? It is, you see, 1 by 2 power 0, that means 1, plus 1 by 2 power 1 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube, so on. Correct? So this is GP series, infinite GP series. Formula A by 1 minus R. What is A? First term, 1 by, what is the ratio? R. 1 by 2, 1 minus 1 by 2. So you simplify it, you get 2. Now this one, this already we have seen, we can write this as 2 into sigma I equal to 0 to infinite I by 2 power I. We already got it as 2, so 2 into 2, 4, right? 4 plus this 2, 6. 6 is the answer. Now finally, we got this as 6 and this as 2. So 6 minus 2 equal to 4. The expected number of trials are finally 4.